everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Black Tea, the podcast that is all about Black women in advertising. I'm your host, Michelle Lawrence, back again, this time with a double feature. I'm here with Yadira Harrison and Shannon Jones. Welcome, ladies.
Hey,
Thank you.
thanks for having us.
Of course. So please tell everyone what you do and where you're based. I'll start with Yadira.
Yeah, so I'm based in LA. One of the co-founders of Verb. We're a Vibes First brand experience agency. Shannon is my co-founder, and so we've had the agency for almost 7 years now. That we've been going. So anything beyond traditional advertising, experiential stunts, building of worlds, campaigns, creator content. That's us.
Okay. And are you both based in LA?
I'm actually based in Baltimore currently.
Okay, bi-coastal. I love that. So I'm curious, and you all may have different journeys to this, but I'm wondering, like, what was that final push that made you make the move to start an agency of your own? Did you come out of college and say, I'm only working for me, or was there a process in getting to that point where it's like, you know what? No, I need to do my own thing.
Definitely not college. I admire young founders so much when they're like, I'm 24, I started my agency. Like, wow, I love that for you. Um, I think Yadira and I both had been working by the time we started our company almost 20 years in the industry. I think I was maybe around the 15, 20-year mark. Um, I've always been on the agency side my entire career. So I started out at really traditional sponsorship consulting agencies back in the day. Then I was at Group M, that was more of a media agency, but I worked on the entertainment and sports partnership side. I've worked at really small boutique agencies, startup agencies, doing celebrity deals and talent partnerships and brand deals. And then Yadira and I met at another agency. Back in 2014, and that was more of an experiential focused agency. But branching out, we really wanted to use more of the tools in our toolbox, especially having worked in such a variety of spaces that we felt like we were a little bit pigeonholed by our success almost where we were and wanted to do something different. And I'll let Yadira talk about her path to our departure.
Yeah, no, I was on the brand side forever before going to the agency side. So I spent a year as a marketing coordinator at an upstart education company and realized I don't know if I like the startup world. So I went to Macy's, where it had been around for hundreds of years, it felt like, but was there doing Macy's Parade Entertainment Group and all of the partnership marketing, advertising, really supporting that whole ecosystem, social mobile, when mobile was like big and becoming a thing. I'm aging myself when it was becoming a thing. And then really just taking that knowledge and all of those tools to the agency side where I met Shannon and at this experiential agency where it was not necessarily about these massive over the top initiatives or events that take a year or more to plan. It was more so about, okay, what do brand activations look like? How do you show up at South by? How do you show up at Sundance? How do you also start to build for brands their own proprietary things because they're all looking for their next Macy's parade. So that's where we met, and from there decided we're going to go start our own thing because as as one that happens at agencies or at different places, you start to just get caught up in either the politics of things that are happening or just things that are happening around you that you are just no longer excited about or happy about. And so you decide that, you know what, we're going to go out on our own and figure out, what life could look like on a new adventure.
Yeah. I'm wondering how quick of a realization that was for y'all once you met. So you met, you're at this agency. I imagine it's not like you lock eyes across the room and then you start a business together. So how did you get to that point where it's like, oh, this is our moment, and you're my person. Let's do this.
It actually was a little, well, not immediately like that. I came from like a business trip and came back and then saw Shannon at the end of the room. I was like, who's that other black girl down there? But it kind of was like that. We really very early on found a real trust and respect with one another in our work. And because of the way that we worked within our old agency, where we were kind of our own entity within this larger group where we kind of had our own ways that we worked, our own team, our own everything that was very different than how all the other accounts were ran. So for us, it kind of felt like we were able to start to build that bond and sort of building our agency from that moment on. So it kind of was like that. And then at some point, I would say probably after 2016, and correct me if I'm wrong, Shannon, I would say during 2015, 2016, we kind of felt like we knew we had lightning in a bottle. We just knew we make magic together. We have really great synergy. We really understand each other's strengths and weaknesses. We're really, we're each other's yin and yang. And so we realized that early on somebody else's dime, which was nice before we had to like go into our own.
We were working together 4 years before we branched out to start our own agency together. So it was a long time that we were able to build that foundation of trust and working together before making that leap.
Mhm. That's so wholesome. Y'all are cute. Okay, so that's great. So you branch out, you're on your own, and you are running a referral only agency. Like, what made you go that route, and what have been the effects of that on the work?
When we started the company, we sent out those typical goodbye notes when you're leaving a job and say, hey, keep in touch, here's my info. And immediately people were reaching out to us, say, wait, where are you going? What are you doing? I want to work with you. Um, and so from there, we were pretty much off to the races. We had given ourselves 100 days to get clients, figure out what we were going to do. And we had 3 clients within that first week. And so for us, it was just a matter of seeing the power of referrals very early. People that we had relationships with are very senior level folks from some of our old clients. If they're referring you to another CMO saying like, oh, who did that for you? You
Yeah.
should work with them. That was just a really great shortcut to success for us. And I think, quite frankly, being a Black woman owned agency, it's very easy for people to pigeonhole you to, oh, they do multicultural, or let me give them this little small project. And so it was
Mm.
just a way for us to shortcut through the prove it energy of like, I
Yeah.
think by that time for us, it's like we've proven it. And so initially it was just a really great way to cut through that. I mean, now we're almost 100 people. Like we've grown significantly since that time. And now we have a new head of marketing and growth. And so she's like, I'm ready to be outside. And so it's, even with that, it's very different. And I think Yadira and I, getting comfortable with being open to working with people that we don't necessarily know personally or not necessarily a direct referral to us. So we've even been more open just over the last couple of months with her joining us to what does the evolution of that look like. But to date, it's been really great. We jokingly say we're a vibes first agency, and sometimes it's just having that intro call, and everybody knows it's a vibe check on the client side and on the agency side of like, do we feel values aligned? Do we feel like this is a great match? And it's not always a great match, and that's okay too. I mean, there's tens of thousands of these agencies. There's probably a great partner for you. And so for us, it's actually worked really well, that we are able to have really aligned relationships, things that feel good on both sides. And the reason why people refer to us is because they know they can trust whoever that they're sending is going to get taken care of.
Yeah. I mean, and clearly it's working. Y'all are eating. I'm curious to hear from y'all because you are the experiential gurus. What's something that you feel like most people are getting wrong in their approach to experiential advertising? What's done too much or like just, what do you think people are missing in that area?
Um, I would say I think what is done too much is probably Instagrammable moments. That time has passed. I think people are now looking more so for engagement, and I think there's still a lot of activations and experiential that is still kind of stuck there, where it's like somebody's going to take a picture and share it, and it's just like we moved beyond that. Half the people now are just like I feel like Instagram is just a place to just save your memories as opposed to a place where people are actually sharing and engaging with that content the same way. And so I feel like that's a big piece that's missing right now is just that there's no one who's really leading that forefront of getting back to true immersive beyond just a photo. What are people doing in that space? How do you take advantage of the world of TikTok and content creators and folks who are want to be content creators? And so I would say that's number one. My number two, and I'm gonna leave it there, just like panels. Like we've been paneled to death. We've been paneled and
Yes.
conferenced to death and brunched to death. And so it just feels like we got to find a new way and a new path to like come together to share information, to network, to do all those things. Of just like there has to be something else besides a panel, a conference, and a brunch.
That's true. Those 5 chairs in a row are worn out. We are
Mm.
tired. That is that's such a good point. Everybody's like, so let's get some people together to discuss. How about we
Yeah.
don't? That's very insightful. I hope people are listening. Okay, I'm wondering too, since we kind of did the like, okay, what's wrong? What inspires you most about the experiential space as opposed to other forms of advertising?
I would say for us, the comment section, like people saying, I feel so seen. It's like you see that perfect meme and you're like, you get me. When people experience these activations together and they feel like, oh, I found my tribe, I found my people, or I've never felt so seen, or even whether it's like a small detail about the thing or a big over the top um activation, I think that's what really excites us the most of seeing the comment section. Like we do a lot of work with Airbnb and seeing the guest reviews on these icons that we've produced over the past 6 months. I mean, the team is just crying, sharing them in Slack. I'm just like, oh my gosh. And like, at the X-Men mansion, people are sketching comics of themselves in the guest book. And we're just like sobbing, like in team meetings of just seeing the impact of that. So I would say seeing the impact that it has on people, making them feel seen and connected to one another, I think by far is the thing that inspires us the most.
Yeah. Yadira, what about you?
Inspires honestly just a true fresh take on something that just goes left. When everybody else is going right, it goes left. I still always go back to like the mischief red boots, where it just feels like sometimes in our ACD, Kendra says this all the time of just being stupid. And sometimes stupid works. And those red boots to me are a signifier of that, of just like somebody just said in the room, what if we just did these like ridiculous red boots? And then someone on the other end, and even now brands are getting in on it, saying, yeah, yeah, let's do that. And then if they become a phenomenon and celebrities are wearing them, everybody's having them. And it's just a way of just like going left when everyone is going right, of just doing something stupid and just like hanging your show behind it. We always say, we like to put a stake in the ground. And that's one of those things to put a stake in the ground on. It's not for everybody. Not everybody loves those red boots, but the folks who do, do. And then the one, Shannon did not, but the ones who do, because then they're talking about it. And that's really at the end of the day, what you want from your marketing is that people are talking about it.
Are there any other projects that you guys have done that are like your baby, something you'll carry with you to the end of your career? So proud of. What's that high point for you of something that you've achieved?
When we produced the Airbnb Barbie Dream House last year, I think that was such a huge moment.
Wait, that was you guys?
Yeah.
See, I loved that moment. But please tell me why you love it.
Thank you. It's interesting because we also did not get to talk about it much at the time, but I just think that, the way that that was able to break through in culture, the fact that my mom's coworkers are talking about it. She's like, my daughter did that. Or, Yadira's sister is a teacher and her students are like, oh my gosh, did you see this? And she's like, yeah, my sister's company built that, that sort of thing of like things that are really ubiquitous in culture and had such a huge impact on folks. So I would say that's a really proud moment because it was also a bit of a turning point for us as an agency of just more visibility. We've always been very, if very behind the scenes under the radar. And I'm sure that campaign is what helped catapult us to now Agency of the Year this year. And so I would say that that's definitely a really proud moment for our company for sure.
And we're seeing that again with Polly Pocket right now, of like, it's kind of like that same feeling that everyone is just like, did you see this? Did you see this? Or people are also making the connection that a lot of times, a lot of those big things are verb stamp. Not all of them, but a good amount of them are. And so we're seeing that now with Polly Pocket, which also, when we saw that in person, it was like, whoa, like it felt like we were just in a very different space, like between the up house and making that go up in the sky. Even a project we did with the Mr. and Mrs. Smith series launch, where it was just something different for us, where it was about undercover cameras and a whole social campaign. Like it was like so much to it that I don't think that also is one of those weird things that people have probably on some level seen or heard about, but don't know that one is either marketing and or it was us behind there that's doing it. But it's like those are the things I think we're really proud of, where it's not necessarily about verb did that. It's more so about did it make its way through culture, and it's making its way through culture. And then on the back end, we can say, yeah, we did that too.
That's amazing. I'm obsessed with Polly Pocket, or not anymore, but I was as a child. It was very near and dear to my heart. So now I feel so seen. Um, okay, so one last question for y'all. What are the qualities of an ideal client for you, or ideal client or brand to work with?
We have a long list. I think that there's some cliche things that I think all marketers say of like, we want brave clients, we want forward-thinking marketers. We talk a lot about now this concept of being a visionary partner for visionaries and someone that wants to do the never been done before, someone that is not necessarily looking for the case study of like, has this been done 20 times? Did it work 25 times? Did somebody else get the ROI? Like they
Right.
want to take those creative leaps. And I think that's what's really exciting for us, like things that challenge us, things that inspire us and get the team excited when we drop it in Slack of like, hey, we got this new project and people, it's buzzing and going crazy. But I think visionaries, honestly, and also brands that are really clear about who they are and who they're for,
Mm-hmm.
where they're not focused on copycats, they're not focused on chasing what someone else is doing, but they're really clear about who they're for, because then you can really break through. Then you can really do something that resonates with their customer and can deliver value for them.
And good people. Like we are very vibey. So it's like good people. And we want to work with people who are who respect and trust and understand that we're all coming into this together with the same end goal. And we want to come together and collaborate and find a collective win together, and not necessarily a win just for them or a win just for us, but it's about a collective for one team, one dream.
Yeah, it's not just the logos, it's really the people for sure.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I typically end each episode by asking folks what is a Black-owned product that you are really loving right now. But I feel like your company is a Black-owned product that we're really loving right now. So I kind of feel like we did that.
Oh, I
But if
love
you have
that.
another one that you want to shout out, now is your time and space.
I mean, I'll shout out Sakers because I did my wash a couple weeks ago, and I think I buy all things Beyonce,
Mm.
and doesn't matter what it is, I'm going to buy it because it's Beyonce. But I didn't think it wasn't going to work or make me feel, but I mean, I immediately ran to like the group chat and was like, no, 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 like y'all need to go get your
Really
Sakers if
works.
you haven't
Yeah.
already. It works.
No,
I,
and you know what I love about that too is it smells so good. It smells perfumed almost. It's like
what did I
you
say?
don't have to smell like a tree to have your hair feel moisturized. So
It
I
smells
love that.
like money. It just smells like luxury.
Yes.
We are definitely Telfar fans over here.
Mm.
We were on a business trip recently, and someone from our team took a picture of a bunch of us walking. It was just Telfar backpack, Telfar bag, Telfar bag, Telfar bag of the team walking down the street. So I would say Telfar, I just love how creative their team is and just out of the box. I was obsessed when they took over an old Rainbow store and did like a 1 day sale of all the colors and all the bags. It's like, that is so good.
Good.
Like I just continue to be inspired by them just being clear about who they are and who they're for.
Mhm. I love that. Well, I'm so glad that y'all are also so clear about who you are. It has been such a pleasure chatting with y'all. Thank you
Yes.
so much for coming on Black Tea. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. And to everybody out there watching, thank you so much for catching this episode. Check out all our other episodes at musbycleo.com/black tea. And if you're not following us on Instagram, you should be doing that at sipblacktea. And we will see y'all on the next episode. Bye.